Everybody Writes by Anne Handley. Introduction. Do you dream of becoming a writer who can master the art of playing with words? Do you feel hopeless and afraid that writing might not be for you? How much do you still value writing in an age where videos, GIFs, and pictures are the trend? Writing is everywhere. If we want to talk to a person distantly, we chat or text them. We also use writing in every field of our life. It can be used in school, workplace, business, or various online platforms. This just shows that writing is for everybody. Even if emojis, GIFs, or graphics are produced, some people still prefer to write since it's their most natural method of expressing their thoughts. There are various platforms available where we can freely express our minds and enhance our writing skills. Examples of which are Facebook, Twitter, blogs, newsletters, emails, websites, etc. This book will be your guide in writing. If you are still hesitant to consider yourself a writer, this will be the perfect manual for you. You will learn here the strategies to start and be better at writing. It will also teach you the importance of communicating with your audience through writing. Now, are you ready to awaken the inner writer within you? What content are you excited to publish? Bring with you your pen and paper as you unravel the world of writing. By applying the lessons in this book, you will surely become the writer that the readers wish for. Writing is a habit, not an art. Many people are inclined to believe that writing is an art form that only a few can master. For the lazy ones, this serves as an excuse to be unproductive and unmotivated. But the truth is, the best way to be a writer is just to write. Writing is like any physical exercise. To improve it, you need to be committed to working on it continuously. Make it a habit. Like strength training, writing can be tough at first. The key is to keep going, even if it's uncomfortable and it is easier to quit. Many great writers have their regular writing schedules and routines. These routines often appear as ordinary and predictable as anyone else's life. Consider Benjamin Franklin, who has his so-called daily scheme. Benjamin wakes up at 5 a.m. He spends his early mornings doing the important things he needs to do. This includes addressing his powerful goodness, planning the day's task, and eating breakfast. Then from 7 to 11 a.m., Benjamin spends his time writing. He takes lunch by 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. He also overlooks accounts and read. He goes back to writing by 2 to 5 p.m. By 5 to 9 p.m., Benjamin puts things in order and reflects on what he did for the day. He also used to do things such as listening to music and having a conversation. By 10 p.m., Benjamin goes to sleep. This is what he repeatedly does every single day. From his daily scheme, you can see the pattern of his everyday work. Benjamin Franklin viewed writing as a regular routine. He did not do any shortcuts. He just shows up every day and gets it daily. To become a better writer, you need to make writing a habit. You could set aside time to do this when your mind is at its best. It could be a 30-minute writing habit in the morning, afternoon, or evening. It's up to you to choose a time that works for you. Just remember that you don't have to write a lot. Rather, you have to write often. Therefore, you must commit to writing daily. It is far more effective than spending a long time writing once a week. The goal is to form a habit. Once you make writing a routine, you will surely find yourself progressing as a writer. Follow a writing GPS. There are times when you feel lost along the way when writing. Perhaps you already experienced writing long articles or stories, but in the end, you find yourself struggling with where you're heading to. In this case, you need to have some kind of process to guide your way. This kind of process is kind of like a GPS that guides you from jumbled thoughts to a logical piece of writing that others can understand and enjoy. This is useful, especially if you want good writing, as it takes preparation and planning. This is also where the 12-step process comes in. It serves as a guide in creating clearer and more engaging texts. When the author Anne Handley was still in high school and learning how to write, the emphasis was on the final result. The teachers do not value preliminary drafts and scratch notes. In other words, they cared more about Anne's 7th grade essay than how it ended up on their desk. As it appeared, Anne thought that maybe the procedure was part of the curriculum. But she can't recall much attention being put to the necessary steps that led to the final work. Anne found process boring and mind-numbing in many aspects of her life. But with writing, a process is required because you need a roadmap to reach where you need to go. With this, Anne provided a 12-step process that she uses to write any blog posts on her site or monthly columns in a magazine. This serves as a GPS to Anne, guiding her in creating organized, understandable, and compelling texts. The 12-step process is the guiding points on how to start writing and enhance that skill. The first step is to identify your goal. The second step is to reframe your idea so the readers can relate to it. The third step is to gather relevant data that supports your idea. The fourth step is to create a structure to organize your thoughts. The fifth step is to choose one person you could write for to create a text that they can relate to. The sixth step is to produce an ugly first draft. The seventh step is to rest. The eighth step is to revise and write your second draft. The ninth step is to give the text a headline or title. The 10th step is to find someone to edit it. The 11th step is to take one final look in your piece and assess its readability. The 12th and final step is to publish it. In following this 12-step process, keep in mind that the order is just a suggestion. Therefore, you could toss them around and follow any order you want. The only exception is to start backwards. Remember, there is no specific way to write. It's upon you what steps to follow that would guide you in producing high-quality and engaging content. Start with Dear Mom. Most writers are familiar with the writer's block. This is often associated with procrastination or the fear of a blank page. This is also what stops the writer from writing even before they start. In this case, having a GPS is very important as it guides you where to start. But above that, the only way you could produce a piece is just to start. One helpful guide you could use is, to begin with, Dear Mom. Frame yourself as having a conversation with someone specific. For example, your mom. In this way, you will find your writing voice sounding natural and relaxed. Anne doesn't believe in the idea of writer's block. She also doesn't believe in her father having a truck driver's block. But she believed that this concept is rooted in fear and anxiety about not knowing where to start. This is one thing Anne understands because she procrastinates too. Before starting to write, Anne used to do a lot of things first. This includes paying her bills, watching movies, changing the car's oil, spending time on social media, walking her dog, and many more. Only when she's done with all of it, she will begin to write. While Anne doesn't believe in the idea of writer's block, she believes the idea of a writer's evasion. This is when a writer is having difficulty in writing, which leads to procrastination. This is why she is using a GPS to guide her. More than that, she constantly reminds herself to just start writing, even if she's having difficulty doing so. One helpful trick to start writing is to begin with Dear Mom, as it can help overcome the fear of a blank page. You could also use any other conversational phrases like Dear Dad or Hey You. By starting your writing through these phrases, you will have a natural and more conversational tone. You could also apply this tactic in marketing and business writing. Instead of using Dear Mom or any general term, use the name of your favorite customer as the receiver of your letter. Using the name of someone you personally know or like will help you relax your writing voice into sounding more conversational and engaging. Show, don't tell. In writing good content, you don't necessarily need to preach or hard sell. Rather, you must show how your product or service works in the real world. You should also demonstrate how it adds value to people's lives, solves problems, relieves burdens, and satisfies needs. You need to show your readers why your writing matters to them. To do that, you must look closely into the details of your content. If you want your readers to find your writing relevant, you should provide specific details. Those specific details will make your content vibrant and relatable to your readers. By being specific, you will paint a fuller and clearer picture of your content. In a business-to-business scenario, specific details can make a solution more tangible and real to the people you're attempting to reach. It's great for bringing life to case studies and client testimonials. An example of this is Cisco Systems. The company was trying to show how the role of information technology is changing. In doing this, they can choose between two ways. The first is to commission a white paper. It can consist of details such as creating new markets, business models, and transforming knowledge sharing. The second way is to show a story of a real chief information officer who uses technology to sell more products to those who want it. Among the options, you can see that the more compelling to people is the second way, which features a real person and a real solution to a real problem. This is a far livelier approach for customer videos and testimonials. Thus, Cisco created a video story and website content featuring Marina Bellini, a Chief Information Officer (CIO) of a beer brand named Grupo Modelo in Mexico. There is also another video created that features actual CIOs having conversations about the job they love. In that video series, Cisco used a model for a specific and effective approach. Unlike any other customer videos that used corporate language, Cisco instead chose the conversational approach to which CIOs showed their true personality. They did this by shooting the video in a non-business environment. This is the key to getting the people in a relaxed and conversational state of mind. More than that, Cisco also added the element of entertainment in their video series. This is done because they want to humanize both their company and the client's company. They let the audience see the conversational and personal side of both. It is also helpful in getting more audience in their YouTube channel. This all boils down to being specific. Make the words alive, add human elements, be more personal and compelling. Most importantly, it's best to show rather than just tell. Be rabid about readability. In a world full of jargon and complexities, you must realize that the best web writing is simple and it uses a general approach. This is about using simple words, shorter sentences, and shorter paragraphs. The exemption to this rule is when your text needs jargon. This is why you need to know your target audience first. To assure readability, some experts suggest you check the readability score of your content. Web readers tend to scan content online. That's why it's important to keep your sentences short and precise. The best-known readability scoring method is the Flesch-Kincaid. This is useful, especially in writing for a new audience. The Flesch-Kincaid readability test is created by two men. They are Rudolf Flesch and Peter Kincaid. Rudolf Flesch is an Austrian who fled to America to escape the Nazi invasion. He studied at Columbia University and earned a PhD in English. He became a writing consultant for the Navy. There, he worked with Peter Kincaid, who is also a writing consultant. According to Flesch, the readability test is based on how the human mind works. Suppose that you are reading. When you read a sentence, your brain and eyes are focusing on every word. They're trying to understand what the text implies. Then, when they see a comma, period, or new paragraph, they will re-evaluate their understanding of the text. Only when the mind reaches the end of the sentence or paragraph will it understand the text's true meaning. This is the reason why it is harder to understand longer texts. It would cost a person more effort and time to grasp the concepts. So if you want your readers to understand your content quickly, write it in shorter, straightforward sentences. In using the Flesch-Kincaid method, a writer should understand how the readability score works. The higher the score, the easier the text to understand. If the readability score is 90 to 100, it is easily understood by an average 11-year-old student. If the score is 60 to 70, it is easily understood by students around 13 to 15 years of age. If it's around 0 to 30, it is best understood by college students. If you find yourself producing content that is hard to understand, start with the basics. Shorten lengthy sentences, delete complicated terms, and simplify. Flesch claimed that no complex words or phrases couldn't be converted into plain English. Set a goal based on word count, not time. If you want to become a productive and efficient writer, putting some goals and metrics is essential. In doing this, make sure you track your writing in terms of number of words instead of time. Why? Because it doesn't count to stare at an empty page for half an hour. What matters is how much writing you've done in a given amount of time. This approach is especially helpful when working on a large writing project, such as an ebook, white paper, or video script. It's totally up to you to decide the word count for your daily writing goal. Dane Sanders is a writer and a photographer. He published 2 best-selling novels in the same year not long ago. He had a passion for writing, so he made it a daily routine. But writing 2 novels in 1 year seemed like a death march. So, Dane took a break from writing. After experimenting with various methods to rekindle his routine, he found one effective way that works for him. It is to keep an appointment with himself and log a daily metric. Most importantly, he also has an understanding of his weight class. It means the number of words you can write in one sitting. Dane got this idea from a marketer and author, Mitch Joel. The concept is to know whether you're writing with heavyweights, featherweights, or somewhere in the middle. If you don't know yet, just assume that you are in the featherweights. Heavyweights can write down 5,000 words in one sitting before breakfast. If you are just a beginner at writing, then consider writing 50 words a win. In many situations, that's only enough content for a single tweet. That is something that most adults can accomplish right now. After that, increase your weight class to 250 to 500 words. Keep training until you can achieve at least 750 words at each sitting without experiencing difficulty. Dane's current weight class is about 1,000 words a day. That means he does not feel good about a day unless he reached his target word count. Every time he achieved his writing goal, he would give himself credit. When Dane did that for a year, he has produced about 1,500 pages of writing. For over 2 years, he had also increased his word count for a day. From Dane's story, you could see how setting your writing goal by word count is essential to become more productive. In using this technique, start with aiming for a low word count first. Write consistently and increase your word count goal for the following days. By being consistent, you will be surprised by how much writing you have made for a year. Conclusion. In this book, you have first learned the importance of having a writing routine. Second, you have learned about the 12-step process of writing. While there is no specific way to write, this method is useful for improving your writing skills. Third, if you have a writer's evasion, one best strategy is to imagine yourself talking to someone else. You need to start writing, even if it's difficult for you to do so. You also learned that producing good content is about showing how your product or service works in the real world. You have to show rather than just tell. Lastly, you learned how to make your content readable by everyone and how to set a daily goal based on word count. Writing is a learning process. It's not true that only a few people are gifted with the ability to write. Writing is for everyone. You just have to be committed to practicing it regularly. Aside from grabbing your pen and paper, there is also one thing that would make your writing journey more meaningful than ever. This is to put your heart into writing. One of the best feelings in the world is to fall in love with your words. Beyond that, what's even more fulfilling is making your readers feel the same way as yours. Now, are you ready to make people happy and inspired with your words? If yes, now's the time to act, write, and make it happen. And that, dear listener, brings us to the end of the summary of Everybody Writes. If you want to hear more such motivational content, definitely browse through the rest of our library right here on Giggle.